So in less than 3 hours, Hunter Biden's gun trial is set to resume at the federal courthouse in Delaware. And Hunter's ex-wife is expected to take the stand. Rich Edson is live in Wilmington, Delaware with the latest. Hey, Rich.
Hey, good morning, Lawrence. Well, if you've ever heard Hunter Biden's audiobook, you're about caught up on the first portion of questioning here in this courtroom. Prosecutors used Hunter's audiobooks, his own words, to try to paint this picture. They played massive amounts of excerpts from it during the first day of questioning with FBI Special Agent Erica Jensen. They're using his words to establish that he was a crack user and an addict when he bought that gun back in 2018. When this trial resumes at 9 a.m., defense attorney Abby Lowell picks up cross-examination of Jensen. Prosecutors also showed the page of that gun form asking if the gun buyer, Hunter in this case, was in use of illegal drugs. It's marked no. They show text from Hunter the day after he brought the gun saying he was waiting for a dealer named Mookie. The defense says the gun form essentially asks whether Hunter is currently a drug user. It doesn't ask whether if he's ever done drugs. The defense maintains Hunter wasn't on drugs at the time he bought the gun and that he never used it, had it for only 11 days, and then his sister-in-law, Hallie, threw it out. Prosecutors also brought Hunter's notorious laptop into the courtroom. Investigators have a summary chart of its contents about 18,000 pages long. When President Biden was at the White House yesterday, First Lady Jill Biden made another appearance at this courthouse. So did Hunter's sister, Ashley. As prosecutors played excerpts of Hunter's audiobook, Ashley was crying intermittently, and at one point, Jill comforted her. Eventually, Ashley walked out of the courtroom. We expect the prosecution's next witness could be Kathleen Buell, that's Hunter's ex-wife, who he's also in another legal fight with over allegations of unpaid alimony. Prosecutors have also indicated they'll call Zoe Keston, an ex-girlfriend of Hunter, and Hallie Biden, Hunter's sister-in-law.
Hunter Biden, the big natural gas tycoon, I hope you're not too tired from your last art show. I'd hate for you to paint yourself into a corner during this deposition. I heard you got a new job as a magician because you've been making all of your business dealings disappear. I wonder what else he got up his sleeve.
I got a laptop, I got a GoPro, I got a Glock, 'cause I say all low, low, low. I got a bag of crack and you can probably see. I also gotta pee, I gotta pee, I gotta pee. Why is everyone laughing at me? So if you find a little pee on the floor after I leave, I think it probably belongs to me.
It never gets old. That's just a classic. We should release an album, shouldn't we? We should drop an album. And we should release an album of Hunter Biden's greatest hits at the trial. Ladies and gentlemen, that meme doesn't get old, but having the flu gets old real fast. I'm not a sickly person. I would never call myself a sickly person. I kind of, probably like you, very much a muscle through it, right? Like the weekend's right around the corner, I'll sleep in, right? I'll take my vitamins. But holy cannoli! Is there a little flu going around these parts? And so we took the last 2 days and a very long weekend off, ladies and gentlemen, and made sure to get some rest up. And now we are back prim and proper and fit as a fiddle. And we are ready to cover some very fiddling news inside of the courtroom in Delaware. Is Hunter Biden doomed? Is the government presenting evidence so bad that Hunter Biden won't even be able to snake and weasel his way out of this one? We shall see, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Wednesday, June 5th, 2024. FBI witnesses confirm on stand that Hunter Biden's laptop is indeed real, that it is from hell, and that they have 18,000 pages of evidence that will never leave the Department of Justice on Hunter Biden. Oh, well, that explains so very much. DC insiders reveal worrying news about Biden's decline, now often incomprehensible, regularly freezing in meetings. This is the new thing. The new thing, and it's called rats fleeing a ship. But when a rat flees a ship, like it's getting off because it knows it's doomed. That's happening all across Washington with Joe Biden. The new thing in D.C. is that Joe Biden just freezes up during meetings. Got it? Got it? Vote for me! 2024. Rep. Tim Burchett joins the show today. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. So, ladies and gentlemen, I did get some extra time to be. It's like, so it's bad to be sick. Don't like being sick. There's a flu. So we checked. There's like a big flu. There's like a little just flu bug thing right going around. Of course, it was the Fauci testimony day. So, irony is not lost on me with all that. The Fauci testimony day, and I'm down with the flu. But I'll tell you what, I was up with my kids. I got this time to really spend with the kids all day, right? I got 3 beautiful little children, and they're 3 kids under the age of 3. And rounding to just spend, I don't care if your kids are 3 or 30, that's the best thing on earth, to just spend that time with your kids. And so there's sort of like a couched blessing in that, and it revives, obviously, the care and the passion that this show has for life and for the procurement of life and for the continuation of life. Virtually the entire world is not at population replacement levels. The entire world population is collapsing in real time, and it's going to lead to some disastrous effects. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we should stop the slaughter, and we should make more babies. And I can tell you this, even if you got the flu and you're down bad, holding your children in your arms is like natural medicine. Serotonin, oxytocin, just gives you the desire to continue on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why we're proud to partner with Preborn on this program. We partner with Preborn because they are such an awesome organization that funds ultrasounds for expectant mothers in places that typically see really high abortion rates. And a lot of times the ultrasound is not something that you get at Planned Parenthood, right? It's not something that you get these awful, abortion mill houses. And so you see the ultrasound, and it's like the miracle of God suddenly crystallizes in your mind. And so that's why we partner with Preborn. I encourage you to go support them and their work. If you consider yourself pro-life, it's time to help the good work of Preborn. One ultrasound is just $28, and $140 help rescue 5 babies' lives. Every baby deserves a chance at life. To donate today, your best gift of the year. Just dial pound 250 and say the word baby. Pound 250, say the word baby, or go to preborn.com/Benny, preborn.com/Benny. All right, ladies and gentlemen, moving from that to somebody who doesn't, a family that doesn't even know how many grandkids they have. Oh, yeah. And that's not because they have so many they forgot. It's because they don't claim the ones they don't like. Yeah. The true vile evil of the Biden family has been revealed in this Hunter Biden trial. It's not getting kind of attention that it deserves, and so that's why we're happy that this show's back up and running. Ladies and gentlemen, the Biden family, you may recall, the reason I can say that about the grandkid stuff, you may recall that Hunter Biden, when he was on a bunch of drugs, did a lot of bad things, right? As many are deigned to do when they are addicted to crack cocaine and mountains of it. Hunter Biden impregnated a adult stripper, I think, adult dancer, and then refused to take care of the baby. Now, this is something that Hunter Biden's done a bunch of times with other women. He refuses to care for or even claim the children, and refuses to pay anything to the now single mothers who are there left trying to provide for the child. So Hunter Biden did this, and he's a real piece of garbage for doing that. You're a horrible person if you do something like that. There's just no other way to say it. Hunter Biden's father and his babysitter turned stepmother, Jill, always the babysitter, Jill Biden, they refused to acknowledge Hunter Biden's love child with London Roberts, right? So there you go. There's the story. It took actually the New York Times shaming the Biden family with headlines, "It's 7 grandkids, Mr. President," stockings for their dogs and not for their legitimate biological grandchild. So this is like the timber of people you're dealing with morally here, right? What does it say about our nation when those kind of people are in charge? Not good things. We should fix that. We're on the path to doing that, and it's really good. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's begin. So, there have been some pretty massive updates from this trial, but the one I want to pop into right away is the Hunter Biden laptop. Because earlier this morning, we were on Piers Morgan's show, and I found it particularly remarkable that the man who's currently the Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, he organized the Hunter Biden laptop disinformation, misinformation, manipulation of the American people, and rigging of an election in order to lie to you and tell you that it wasn't Hunter's, that it had all the hallmarks of Russian disinformation. This guy gets rewarded, and because Secretary of State. Now, he's blown the world up, so he's no good at either of these things, but nonetheless, nobody got punished. Yet Donald Trump is facing the rest of his life in prison for allegedly making a payment in the wrong way and therefore rigging an election. And after all that, the federal government decided to walk up to the witness stand in the Hunter Biden trial yesterday, place a giant bag of evidence on the trial table, and say, it's real. It's real. You got us. We knew it all along. We have it right here. The Hunter Biden laptop is indeed real. Okay. So given the new rules, when do we send Joe Biden to prison? Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Hunter Biden laptop, totally real.
Well, today, Biden's Justice Department got in front of the courtroom with a plastic bag in hand and pulled out Hunter's laptop. The same one that was censored before the 2020 election, the same one that 51 intel officers said was Russian disinformation, the same one Joe Biden said was fake. The Justice Department admitted it's real, and they've had it since 2019, but they didn't want us to know about it before we voted last election.
So when do we put Joe Biden in prison? It's a question I'm going to continue to ask these Stalinists. When do we put Joe Biden in prison? Man, I was on that Piers Morgan show. Ooh, I can't wait for that thing to come out. I called them all Stalinists. It got spicy. Somebody put a bee in your bonnet. They were not happy. Ladies and gentlemen, neither was Hunter Biden happy when they put up this photo of him during the case. Hang it in the Louvre. Hang it in the Louvre. I gotta get one of these and print them out. I want to print them out. Let's get, we should print this out and put it up in the studio. Look at this. That's Hunter Biden looking at a giant screen of him smoking crack, naked. Look at the expression on Hunter Biden. Yeah, let's print it. Robbie, what happened to that lady in Australia that was going to send us that cool newspaper? Come on. Oh, there we go. Perfect. What happened to that lady? We got some neat stuff from the audience. We freaking love this audience. You send us all this cool stuff. Expect to see it up in the studio. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to put this one up. We're going to hang it up. Hopefully we'll get it up during the trial. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hunter Biden trial live. Wife Melissa Cohen and First Lady Jill Biden return to court after laptop was revealed to the jury. Oh boy. It turns out that Hunter Biden's ex-wife is now going to be testifying. Now, this is going to be very interesting. Hunter Biden's ex-wife, Kathleen Blue, expected to take the stand today. After FBI agent Erica Jensen is finished being cross-examined by the defense, Hunter Biden's ex-wife, Kathleen Blue, is expected to take the stand. Of course, we have our production team on live. Sadly, we do not have live feeds of this trial. We obviously never. I just sleep. I just sleep in the studio. We would never get away from that feed. But unfortunately, we don't. It's like the Trump trial in New York. We do not have an actual feed of this one, sadly, but we do have some really hilarious sketches that we will get printed off and hang them up like fine art in the studio. Hunter Biden staring at himself smoking crack. Hunter Biden's ex-wife is a very interesting selection because while she said she's forgiven him for the thousands he spent feeding his addiction to crack cocaine and his infidelities and lies, she still hasn't reconciled with the fact that Hunter Biden, cheated her out of hundreds of thousands, if not millions, in alimony payments. Yeah, they have children together, right? Like, he was lying to her. We have that in the text messages, saying, I'm all out of cash. And in the same months, he's spending millions. Well, annually, he's spending millions. He's spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on hookers. And that's what he was doing. He was spending tens of thousands of dollars on a demonic sex club that kicked him out. This is the timber of people you're working with here. Not great. It's a demonic sex club, and the imagery about it is all demonic, right? Demons, goats' heads and stuff. And they kicked Hunter out. The sex club with all the pentagrams and stuff everywhere. They kicked Hunter out because, according to the owner, he is too depraved for them. Hunter Biden's an evil person, says the owner of the demon sex club. Okay, got it. So his ex-wife's going to take the stand. Hunter Biden lied to her when she was hard up for cash. She needed money, and Hunter Biden owed her that. They had children together, and he wouldn't pay. And he was obviously embezzling the cash for himself in order to feed and fuel his wretched habits here. He's a bad person. He's a bad people. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we continue with the interesting little tidbits that we've. Oh boy, was I chuckling reading these in the old recovery bed over the last few days. Apparently, Hunter Biden got his brother's widow addicted to crack while he was banging her. Got it? What a good dude. What a really nice guy. So, prosecutors revealed to the jury yesterday that Hunter Biden didn't just move in quickly on his dead brother's Beau Biden, who died of brain cancer, not Iraq. Beau Biden died of brain cancer while working a suit and tie job. He moved in on his wife, Haley, and then he got her hooked on crack. Haley is set to testify in the case, and mysteriously Joe Biden visited her a few days ago, most likely trying to buy her silence about the family dealings. Gracious. So that's a very interesting, very interesting little tidbit there. Another very interesting tidbit about all of this that sort of sets the table is that the evidence is just kind of demonstrable here. If you've ever bought a gun, and we just want to like sort of cover this so that we have just a real quick read on the whole story here. If you've ever bought or purchased a firearm, you fill out this form. This form should look very familiar to you. You can't buy a firearm without doing this. You have to do this. From a federally authorized gun dealer, and I buy lots of guns, I have to always fill out this form. My armorer knows me my name, right? Like the firearms sit in the back of the studio here in the shot. We love these things. No, but I don't get a pass. I don't get waved in. I have to fill this thing out every time. I get to sit there on the thing, and I better be answering the questions correctly. Hunter Biden didn't. Keep it up. Let's keep that up. Because there's a question here on the form that says, are you addicted to substances? You can see Hunter Biden's name right there. You can see the filing, and then you can see here, are you addicted to any kind of mainline narcotic or substance, and so on. And here, ladies and gentlemen, is where Hunter gets in a lot of trouble. Because, you see, the problem was that Hunter Biden was addicted to an astonishing number of drugs at the time, and he was banging his dead brother's widow, getting her addicted to drugs at the time, and it made for a pretty shambolic situation. Now, here's an exclusive from Politico, far right-wing conspiracy site, so I don't know if we can believe them, but let's go ahead and read Politico's reporting here on this. What Politico says, and I'm going to summarize here because we've read this whole thing on air, it's a really incredible story, is that, read the top line here. President Joe Biden's son Hunter and his daughter-in-law Haley were involved in a bizarre incident in which Haley took Hunter's gun and threw it in a trash can behind a grocery store next to a high school. Delaware police began investigating, concerned that the trash can was across from a high school and the missing gun could be used in a crime at the school. This is all according to the police report. But a curious thing happened. Secret Service agents approached the owner of the store where Hunter bought the gun and asked them to take the paperwork. You know, the federal NICS form I just showed you. The Secret Service wanted to confiscate that. Secret Service refuses to acknowledge that this actually happened. The gun store owner refused to supply the paperwork, suspecting that the Secret Service officers wanted to hide Hunter's ownership of the missing gun. So the Secret Service says it has no records of its agents doing this. So what was happening? Joe Biden, ALX, can you tell me, is there any reason that Joe Biden would be under Secret Service protection in 2018? I don't think so. Is this normal for vice presidents? I guess I'm asking a question. Like, is this normal? I don't know. I don't get it. Why would the Secret Service so quickly show up on the scene? So days later, the gun was returned when an old man who rummages through the groceries trash can found it. The incident did not result in any charges or arrests. Now, here's what's absolutely and totally remarkable here. This is a very long and thorough story. What's incredible is that Hunter Biden goes on to get himself called in by the cops. Find this gun. You know, you can't just find a gun in a trash can and like shove it down your pants. You shouldn't do that. You should call the police immediately. Okay, you don't want to have guns, firearms that aren't yours or registered to you on your person. Don't do it. Don't do it, right? Don't do it. Be above board, obviously. Hunter Biden gets called in to answer some questions about this. And what does he do then? Really unbelievable. Check this out. The FBI also responded to the scene, according to people familiar with the situation. At the time, the FBI was monitoring Hunter Biden as part of an investigation that remains ongoing, currently focusing on his taxes. The FBI declined to comment. Okay, so FBI agents show up. In addition to questioning Haley, police called in Hunter to the scene where the gun was just thrown in the dumpster outside of the store's loading dock. And Hunter explained that he used the gun for target practice. At one point, two of the grocery store's employees, described by the police report as Mexican males, okay, their words, walked past the loading dock area, and Hunter told the police officer that the store had some suspicious people working at it. Asked if he was referring to the two Mexicans, Hunter said, yeah, probably illegal. I'm reading you this from Politico. According to the police report, when the police officer asked Hunter whether the gun had been used in a crime, the officer reported that Hunter became very agitated with me and asked me if I was intentionally trying to make him mad, meaning you're on drugs, right? Meaning you're on drugs. There's, of course, the thing that the cop's going to ask you. You're on drugs. I mean, has any reporter ever, like, brought you through the realities of this case? This is so depraved, these people. When the officer asked Hunter whether he had been doing drugs or drinking heavily, he responded, listen, it isn't like that. I think she believes I was going to kill myself, according to the report. An officer asked if Hunter had called his father about the incident before he arrived. Hunter responds, I never called my dad for anything, according to the report. Now, we know that to not be true. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the case that is at hand. We have touched on this and talked about this, but this is the case that we're currently talking about in the trial in Delaware. I want to sort of set the table here for, I think, that the basics of the case, which is Hunter Biden fueled on coke, his dead brother's widow that he's hooking up with, that he got addicted to coke, get into an argument. They take the illegally purchased firearm, chuck it into a trash can that's by a school and a grocery store, right? Kind of like in between. The FBI and police investigate. Hunter Biden shows up and goes, "What are you trying to make me mad, man? Huh? What are you doing? What are you doing?" Then he sees two Mexican males. Okay, that's the police report. Two Mexican males walk by, and Hunter's like, "They did it. They did it. Those guys, they're probably legal." According to the report. It's not me. I mean, it would make for a great story, and it would fit the character of these people. But no, according to the report, Hunter goes, "Oh, look, two Mexican males, probably theirs. Suspicious character around here, probably illegal." It's in the report. So this is what's ongoing in the trial right now. Okay, this is what they're up against. It's pretty remarkable. One last little like despicable thing that has come to light over the last few days is this. Speaking of Beau Biden, this old report that Beau Biden helped keep a DuPont family heir out of prison for pedophilia. It's a rotten family, all of them. DuPont is obviously a very, very powerful family in Delaware, and they run the DuPont the DuPont company, and that's a big company in Delaware. There was an heir to the family fortune, the DuPont family fortune, who, in a child sexual abuse case against a DuPont family heir, who had, I can't even describe what he was doing to young children, and spared sentencing because of his last name, presumably. These people donate big time to the Bidens. Attorney General Beau Biden made sure that he extended it. He made sure that he guaranteed that daddy's donor never got prosecuted for these crimes. So, again, there's your setup for who these people are. All right? Okay. Now that we've gone that far, let's continue. What is the defense exactly for Hunter Biden in all this? Given the evidence, you're like, why don't you just throw away the key, right? Like, this guy is he's garbage. He's having to look at photos of himself naked smoking crack in the courtroom and say he wasn't doing that. New reports say that there was cocaine found on the gun holster and potentially the firearm itself. Let's make sure that we get the report out. ALX, I'm not sure if that's in the script or not. There was like cocaine like found in the actual, like on the actual gun, on the actual firearm. It's pretty exceptional. So what was the defense exactly for Hunter Biden? What is the defense? What are they planning on saying about all this? Let's go.
This case is all about Hunter lying on a gun form, which the prosecution will easily prove with pictures, videos, texts, witnesses, and cocaine residue on the gun holster. But Hunter's lawyer says that's not Hunter's drug residue. It's Haley's, Hunter's brother's widow, the one he was sleeping with. Yeah, Hunter's throwing his brother's widow under the bus. The defense also said that Hunter didn't even want to buy a gun. Hunter just drove Joe Biden's black Cadillac down to the AT&T store to buy a phone. Across the street was a gun store where a pushy salesman convinced Hunter to buy a Colt Cobra 38 special revolver with a speed loader and a box of ammo. You know how pushy salesmen are. Prosecutors also pointed out that Hunter took out thousands of dollars in cash a day, presumably to buy drugs. The defense says it wasn't for drugs. Hunter just didn't own any credit cards. He keeps cash like Fannie.
Really great tie in there, Jesse. Not a great day for Hunter. The government is bringing some pretty strong evidence against him. It shows you exactly how much they have on the Biden family and how they could end the Biden family like that. It disgusts you because it shows you how broken our system is here in this country, and it sickens you because there is actually no justice here because the government's been sitting on this. Like the FBI didn't release a message in 2020 when Joe Biden was rigging the election that the Hunter Biden laptop's real and you should stop censoring it on social media. The FBI was the one helping censor it. They knew the damn thing was real. Everything is rigged. But you have to like confront a problem and you have to name it. You have to call it out at 1,000 yards, and you have to say, you know what? Like we're gonna go for that. That's gonna be the problem we're gonna go after. And so this is what is being laid bare right now in the court. The government is bringing in witnesses and experts, and they are testifying against Hunter Biden, and they are stacking up a pretty alarming preponderance of evidence and data. I just, how a jury is going to nullify this, I don't know. Here's the report from the first day in court yesterday.
Yeah, so Ashley Biden apparently shed a few tears while we were in there. I didn't personally see that, but our producer Jake Gibson did. I have to tell you though, Jesse, I was a bit surprised about that, given that Hunter Biden went on a pretty well-known book tour over this, about this book a couple of years ago. And, you know, we sat through listening to about an hour of Hunter's own words in his own voice, listening to his audiobook as he detailed his wild drug escapades, including him talking about how finding crack was his superpower. So that was an interesting point sitting there. You know, I was watching the jurors' faces this afternoon. One tried not to laugh as a message was read from Hunter to Hallie where he called her unhinged and crazy for calling the FBI about his gun. Meanwhile, she called them because he had left it in an unlocked car with the windows down, and she was afraid the kids were going to find it. And she also was afraid he was going to either harm himself or others, given the fact that he had just the day before been texting her about being on a car and smoking crack and talking about doing a drug deal with a guy named Mookie.
Oh, Mookie. You just should have stopped when you heard the guy's name. You said, nope, sorry. I knew this is probably going to turn back around on me. Not Mookie. Mookie's probably in Corn Pop's gang, says producer ALX. Ooh, man. The cringe overload is happening now. You know exactly the only card they're going to play. They're going to play a single card. The card is going to be, please believe that we are just victims here. We, this family, we are the victims, all right? With all of our history of being like pure human garbage. And I mean, like, going back to Joe Biden cheating on his wife with the babysitter, stealing another man's wife. Like, we need to establish that. Joe Biden stole another dude's wife. They were both married to other people, Jill and Joe. There's no special love story between these two. That's what they did. ALX, I don't see that as a reinforcement clip. Let's grab that. I want to grab that. That like, good. We don't play this enough. So Jill's the babysitter. Joe Biden can't help himself. Bad guy. And that's how that all got started. Stole another man's wife. So please trust my babysitter mother-in-law that I'm a good guy. I've changed my ways. And that this federal law that we're fighting tooth and nail for people who lie on their gun forms, like that, like lock everybody else up. Every other gun criminal. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris given 200,000 speeches about gun criminals in America and gun crime in America. Just not this guy. Just not him. Okay? He's that guy he's got to be protected. That's a call what you will by white privilege. I'm president. Doesn't matter. You know, I locked up all your black sons and all your black kids. Me, Joe Biden, I locked them all up. I literally wrote crime bills in the 80s and 90s that specifically locked up hundreds of thousands of black kids for like doing a scintilla of the amount of crack that my son's on GoPro doing. We can't show you the footage on his laptop because every time we do, the entire thing gets demonetized because there's so much crack that Hunter Biden's weighing that it looks like Mount St. Helens. This guy was doing so much crack. So don't lock up my son. I locked up all your kids. Don't lock up my kid. We're the victims, is what the Biden family's saying. They've been singing this tune for a long time, for a very long time, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the statement. Here's the official Biden statement. As a dad, I have boundless love for my son. No, dude, as a dad, you're a horrible, horrible example, and you're a horrible father. You never, ever had a consequence for your kid, and you let him live a life of degeneracy and evil, knowing that you could probably work the system, you had enough corrupt friends, and you signed enough expenditure bills for the FBI and the superstate that they would protect your son no matter what he did. That's what you mean. You're actually a horrible father, because no father would ever want his son to do this. I don't care how powerful you are. No one wants their sons to end up like Hunter. You want your son to end up like Don or Eric or Barron. Right? Right. Here we go.
President Biden is here in Delaware paying attention, getting updates from aides and family members. He's not here. He's at home, but he did release this statement. As the president, I don't and won't comment on pending federal cases. But as a dad, I have boundless love for my son, confidence in him, and respect for his strength. Our family has been through a lot together, and Jill and I are going to continue to be there for Hunter and our family with our love and support. The jury selection.
Okay. I have boundless love. Somebody who's kind of all out of love, I think, here is Miranda Divine, who is so spectacular on this. She's the original person who broke the laptop story. Nobody has actually been more hurt professionally than Miranda Divine by all of this, because this should have made her the Woodward and Bernstein. This was the primo report of all reports on a political bombshell. And then because of the Bidens rigging the election and meddling in the election, her story didn't get heard. And so Miranda Divine, I really want to hear from right now, because she's the person who originally broke the laptop story at the New York Post. Let's go.
Addiction is not a choice, but buying a gun illegally is a choice, and lying is a choice. And both of those things he is alleging that Hunter Biden did. And look, when you mention the laptop today, really it was a momentous occasion in the whole saga of the laptop that the New York Post has been living for the last 3 years and 8 months since we first broke the story from the laptop, showing that Joe Biden was involved in his family's influence peddling scheme around the world, and there's evidence on that laptop galore. And we were, of course, as you remember, traduced, censored by big tech. Twitter said that we published hacked materials, and then we had the 51 former intelligence officials calling it Russian disinformation. And today at 2:10 p.m. in Delaware, in that courtroom, the prosecutor, Derek Hines, picked up the laptop from hell, as Donald Trump dubbed it. It's wrapped in a clear plastic cover, and he bore it aloft across the courtroom to his first witness, who was an FBI agent by the name of Erica Jensen. And he asked her to identify it. She said, yes, this is Hunter Biden's laptop. I know that from the serial number on the back.
Wow. We've known it the whole time. We allowed everything to be rigged in real time. We allowed it all to happen to you because we hate Donald Trump. Remember the spies who lie? Remember the 51 intel experts? Remember how that was all put together by our Secretary of State? Ladies and gentlemen, we say it a lot on this program, and we don't like to repeat ourselves, but true understanding of the world around you is viewing your government as a criminal enterprise and viewing the people who are running that government as criminals. And this is the right framework to see this through. And once you start seeing that, then you realize that this is just a criminal enterprise that goes after other criminal enterprises that could threaten their monopoly on criminal enterprises. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, in front of a group of people who are rewarding themselves for lying to the American public, for rigging the 2020 election with fake letters like the spies who lie. Can we get that New York Post cover? Let's grab that. That's a good one. The spies who lie. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to come as some not so shocking news to our friend Kash Patel, who's been telling us about this for a very long time, and been saying that the Department of Justice, but a specific group of very highly powerful, highly motivated partisans at the top of the Department of Justice, that those people are the ones doing all of this dirty work. Kash Patel, ladies and gentlemen.
The laptop, to me, is instrumental and highlights everything that's gone wrong in this country with the judicial system and the two-tier system of justice. In 2019, the FBI and DOJ knew the laptop was real and possessed it, as testified to by the FBI agent in the courtroom. So the question is, why didn't Bill Barr, as the Attorney General back then before the election, admit to the American public that that was the case? Why did he allow 51 intel officials to lie to the world about the contents and depth of Hunter Biden's laptop? And then why did the censorship regime at Twitter, Facebook, and elsewhere shut down the New York Post and call their factually accurate reporting? I find it ironic that Merrick Garland, the Attorney General for Joe Biden, was forced to admit what we've known all along in court just last week. Hunter Biden's laptop is real. And as Pam said, the evidence is damning. And now he's putting on the defense that he's blaming his dead brother's wife that he later bedded. You can put as much lipstick as you want on this crack pipe, but it's always going to belong to Hunter Biden.
Good one. Lipstick on the crack pipe. This is how far we've come. So we're getting some pretty interesting bits of news about the Bidens from inside of this courtroom. We're getting a lot of, it's worse than I thought, actually, the details of this case for Hunter. However, they have been able to effectively rig the jury pool, right? They're in Delaware. They're in a place where everybody owes Joe Biden a favor after spending 50 years in public service, really public service, but everybody owes the Bidens a favor in this part of the world. My wife is from Delaware. It's thankfully southern Delaware. But man, the way that those little states work, it really is. It's a crime family. It's a crime family, and that's why the Secret Service was there at the gun store demanding the documentation. Thankfully, that gun store owner didn't give it. We'll see what happens. Greg Jarrett, one of our favorite political analysts on Fox, saying this is not going to end well. Hunter Biden has incriminated himself too many times. He wrote a whole book muling about how much drugs he was on during this time. Don't know how they're going to be able to get past that. But, ladies and gentlemen, it's a Delaware jury, right? So, and these people watch MSNBC. So you never know. Let's go.
Nobody should trust David Weiss for the reasons you stated. He was forced to bring this case, kicking and screaming, only because of the whistleblowers and this particular federal judge. The evidence against Hunter, of course, is overwhelming. The case should have been brought 5 years ago. But that's why Joe Biden issued this fawning statement about his son at the outset of the trial. That statement was meant for those jurors, hoping they'll nullify the law and acquit. It's why Jill Biden is sitting there right behind Hunter. A visual reminder to the jurors, hey, the Bidens own this state. Unfortunately for Hunter, it turns out the best witness against Hunter is Hunter. He incriminated himself on the laptop, time-stamped photographs, doing drugs literally days before he buys the gun. And then the day after he buys it, he's messaging to his drug dealer, Mookie, to score even more crack. None of that, however, Sean, will stop his lawyer, Abby Lowell, from claiming, oh, gee whiz, my client was in denial. So he didn't think he was addicted and could not have had the requisite intent to lie or break the law. Utterly ludicrous, of course. But if a Biden-loving jury is in your back pocket already, all you have to do is give them an absurd excuse.
They're working for jury nullification. That's what's going to happen. So what the play here is unlike Donald Trump, where you take Donald Trump into what is effectively the worst possible district that you could possibly charge a Republican in. What they're doing is they're taking, Joe Biden and the Biden family to Cooperstown, right? I mean, you're talking about like the kingdom that was built, the crumbling, and truly depressed kingdom. Don't drive and look around too much when you're looking through Delaware. I mean, it is not a state that's being well run for sure. But I mean, this is a kingdom built by the Bidens, and they're hoping, and I think they've wired the system that there's going to be jurors who, regardless of the evidence, are just going to say, no, I believe him. Didn't you see Jill? And don't they have a wonderful love story? And isn't this all about a father's love? That's what MSNBC told me. Well, the actual crazy part is that no, it's not. The Joe Biden and Jill, everything's a lie with his family. Everything. It's all a lie, including Hunter Biden's like, I'm getting clean shtick. It's a lie. The Biden relationship itself is a lie. We don't play this clip enough, but it's just wild. Inside Edition did this coverage pre-election in 2020, where they did a little bit of a deep dive into like how did Jill and Joe Biden meet? They ended up finding Jill Biden's husband, who's just sitting around in Delaware, being like, no, Joe Biden stole my wife. This guy's a real bastard. Watch.
Joe, there was Bill, the man Jill Biden married when she was only 18. Now her ex-husband is speaking with Stephen Fabian in this exclusive television interview.
It's going to hurt her. Yeah, it's going to break her heart.
He's the ex-husband of Dr. Jill Biden, the widely admired woman who's been at Joe Biden's side for 43 years. And he has an eye-opening story to tell.
I was betrayed by the Bidens. Joe was my friend. Jill was my wife.
The Bidens' love story is now legend. How they found true love after the heartbreak of losing his wife Nelia and baby daughter in a car crash in December 1972. They even put their tale of romance front and center at the Democratic convention last month.
When I met Jill, I fell in love with her when I saw her.
As Joe Biden tells the story, he first saw Jill's photo on an advertisement in Wilmington, Delaware in March 1975. His brother Frank, who knew the model from college, set Joe up on a blind date the following night. The Bidens' love story reads like a classic fairy tale. They saw a movie together on that blind date, fell in love, and never looked back. But Jill Biden's ex-husband says there's much more to the story, claiming Jill and Joe's relationship actually started in 1974 when he was still married to Jill. It was a blind date. Point blank, is that story true?
No, not even a little bit.
Okay. There's a lot more. That's like a 10-minute interview. And he goes on to say that Joe Biden, he got sent a bill for Joe Biden, like crashing into somebody's car while he was driving Jill around in a convertible. This guy's the owner of a really prominent, a really prominent nightclub called the Stone Balloon. Like everybody knew them. He knew Jill. He knew Joe. He was married to Jill. He knew Joe. Like they were friends, and Joe stole his wife. The end. Joe was married at the time. So that's it. That's the story, ladies and gentlemen, of the Biden family. Great. They're a great family. They truly are a great family. So if you're that kind of a person and your kids begin to fall off the wagon, and you, of course, have no time for your children, you're spending all your time on your own political career and trying to run for president 40 different times, which Joe Biden did unsuccessfully, and your family's a mess, and your kids are little druggies, then the best thing, like the most immoral thing that you can do for them is to not let them ever face a consequence. And I guess the final take here on this trial is that this is the continuation of that. If Joe Biden were a moral person, he'd say, yeah, the law's for everyone. Hunter Biden is going to catch a case. Instead, the government did everything they possibly could to try and stop this case from coming to the courts. Everything. Plea deals and negotiations, and just like every spoiled little princeling, Hunter Biden couldn't just say yes. The government had to apologize for insulting Hunter Biden, for asking about his crimes that were committed on paper and on video. Their pride will be their destruction, truly. The destruction, though, of Hunter Biden really did start with Joe. And you really have to place it at the feet of the father, the failings of the children. Joe Biden, back in the 70s, back in the 80s, when Hunter Biden was still a minor, or maybe 18 years old, had just turned 18, was the first time on record that we have documented that Joe Biden got his kid out of jail for doing either cocaine or crack, but a illegal, illicit, controlled mainline narcotic that we know of in a police report. This happened in the Jersey Shore. And then fresh-faced freshman Senator Joe Biden came muscling in to say, give me the same operation. It's incredible. Give me the mugshot, release my kid from jail, and make this all go away. In case you're wondering how this operation works and how it continues to work and what the breakdown is right now, ladies and gentlemen, a final little cap on what a despicable father figure Joe Biden is for his children. Let's go.
And the Biden family has a long history of covering up cocaine charges. Ask Hunter. He'll tell you straight up, if he wasn't a Biden, he'd be in jail.
I just wonder how you viewed sort of the money you made through your clients that enabled that addiction, and also maybe the ways it protected you from consequences that might have landed a lot of other people in jail.
I think it's completely unfair, and I think that I am 100% still here today and not in a jail cell or in an institution because of my privilege, and not just the privilege of a family that loved me, but the privilege of the fact that I had been very successful.
Back in 1988, Hunter was arrested for cocaine possession in Stone Harbor, New Jersey. But Hunter walked out with a clean record. Why? Well, his dad, senator at the time, expunged his record. And at the same time, Biden was sweeping his son's coke under the rug. Biden was throwing average Americans in prison for coke possession. Same crime.
Yeah. So there it is. As soon as you open up social media feed, you see something from Joe Biden saying, no American is above the law. No one is above the law. It's like a living, walking reminder, a flashing, obnoxious light that, yes, obviously there are people in this system above the law because we don't live in a republic. I'm not sure what you'd call it right now, but you live in a controlled oligarchy by families like the Bidens. Will Hunter Biden see justice in this courthouse? We hope so. The information that's being presented right now is demonstrable. And I don't know how rigged the jury is going to have to be to nullify, but I guess you just need one juror, right? You just need one juror. But the people who are testifying against the Bidens right now are federal intel officers, the FBI itself, Hunter Biden's own words and tapes, photographs from Hunter Biden's laptop. You could see it here. It's remarkable. They're playing videos of Hunter smoking crack and being naked. You've probably seen these things. I don't encourage you to go look them up, but you can see this hanging in the Louvre, ladies and gentlemen, or make it the background on your Patriot Mobile device. Go sign up with Patriot Mobile. Trust me, they are the only Christian conservative patriotic cell phone company that actually provides the service that they say they're going to provide. And that service is really efficient and really strong and keeps us connected when we are on the road, and we are on the road a lot. You can use them without fearing funding the left, which many of these large woke technology companies do. Switch to Patriot Mobile today and send a message that you are a true supporter of our Constitution. That includes legal gun ownership, not illegal. Their 100% US-based customer service makes the switching easy today. Do it. Go to patriotmobile.com/Benny or call 972-PATRIOT. Get free activation today when you use the offer code Benny. Join me and make the switch today. patriotmobile.com/Benny. Oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really excited that our guest is the great Tim Burchett of Tennessee, who never, ever pulls a punch or minces words, and who is a very proud firearm owner himself, legally. Tim Burchett joins the show now. Congressman, I don't know, depending on where you're joining us from, there could be like 10 firearms in the shot, though it looks like you are officially in D.C., and so that may be a problem.
No comment.
All right. That's right. Good man.
Don't
Very
ask,
good.
don't tell, brother. Hey,
Good man.
Thank
All
you,
right.
man. And for the record, I've never done crack cocaine. just so you know.
Okay.
I've
Well, I
never
know that
eaten
you're.
I've never eaten a bagel. I've never ridden in a limo, and I've what's my third one? Never had bottled water.
Okay. Is that what rich people do? Eat bagels and limos with bottled water?
I reckon. I don't know. I'm not paying more for water than I am for dadgum gasoline. I can tell you that. And I don't like anybody driving me around because I'm a teetotaler. I've been with too many drunks, and I don't want to be stuck out in the middle of somewhere and say, well, Benny dropped me off here. He was drinking again.
So that'll never happen. And I got to tell you, having a bunch of kids, having a bunch of little kids makes you sober up real fast and want to preserve your sleep and your energy. And it makes you really critical of a situation like the Hunter Biden situation because you see the failures in parenting. I know you're a parent as well. And I know you had some really remarkable parents. Today's D-Day. I know your father did serve in World War II. And so I guess as somebody who comes from that tradition, as somebody who's a legal and proud firearm owner, everything in this Hunter Biden case really like smacks of parental failure on Joe Biden, but then also personal failure with Joe Biden, and then presidential failure with Joe Biden because they've done everything to try and prevent this criminal from getting the real justice of the law.
Yeah, you see that a lot with parents in the political realm, both parties, because this is a PG show, I guess. You get your butt kissed a lot up here, and people tell you how great you are. And I guess people start believing it. I don't. I go back home to the farm, dose of reality. I'm shoveling horse manure out of the barn or fixing a dadgum fence. So, I don't, the reality sets in pretty quick with me. But a lot of these guys and gals believe that stuff. They get elected to Congress, and they think, or the Senate, they think they're going to get a call from the president to negotiate a trade deal from the dadgum North Koreans or something. And, that ain't happening, but they all believe it. You got the posse around you and groupthink. I learned a couple of things in my 6 years of undergraduate studies at the University of Tennessee. And one of those was groupthink. And, you surround yourself with people that tell you how great you are. And I guess you start believing it. I just always try to get people that'll tell me when I'm screwing up or I'm wrong. And then I fire them. But no, I don't either. But and that's what's happened with Biden. I've been in the room with them. I've been in the room with Hunter when he's, I guess when they're, when they're discussing all this stuff, and it is total entitlement, man. That's the vibe I get off of him, and he is, I'm not guilty. You're only after me because I'm a Biden. You get 20, 40 million, whatever they've gotten that's flown through this Biden crime family. They don't show they paid a lick of taxes, or the statute of limitations is run, which you and I sell $500 worth of dadgum baseball cards on eBay, and the freaking IRS and start snooping around, but that ain't happening to them. And I've seen this time and time again with people of privilege. And I was around people like that my whole life, but I've never had it. My parents were career educators, so they were just hardworking. Daddy fought in the Pacific, and my mama flew an airplane during the second. Her brother got killed a few days after D-Day, by the way. But still, this is
by cannibals, I'm sure. Yeah.
Do what?
By cannibals, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, Congressman, but you are an elected member of Congress, and the current Secretary of State organized a known lie, a campaign to mislead and rig the 2020 election by saying that Hunter Biden's laptop wasn't real.
Yeah, and then the deep state backs it up with 30 or so-called intelligence agency high-ups. I mean, that is the deep state, both parties. You just look at those names, and it literally, it should chill you to the bone, because there you go. You guys are the best at this. I've never seen anybody like it. And these are primarily old white dudes. I wouldn't trust them as far as I could throw the dome off the Capitol, man. They can't pour, in real life, they couldn't pour water out of a boot if the instructions were written on the heel. So, and these are the people that are advising us and got this president's ear and everybody else's ear. And then currently this president, I think, has got a bunch of 25-year-old punks with man buns or something. But anyway, and this is what we believe, and we just jump on board this stuff. And we do not realize just how deep this thing goes. We are compromised, and dadgummit, this proves it right here. Whatever they put on all these people, they got something on them. And it's not just groupthink. And to get into the club, you have to sell your soul. And these people's soul has been sold a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, you're famous on the show for coming in and sort of exposing the nature of Washington, D.C. And now, lo and behold, here we have the expert witnesses saying not only is that Hunter Biden's laptop, and we know, of course, that all this stuff is legitimate and real, we have 18,000 pages of documents pulled from that laptop that have been sitting inside of the DOJ, and nobody's lifted a finger. And it was all real, and it was kept from you, and these people have been kept from prosecution, and why? Right? That's my question.
Yeah, because we don't have any guts. That's why. The Republican Party is gutless. And here we are again, and I'm going to get myself in trouble, but I don't care. I'm sick of it. All we do, we elect these guys and gals. They come home and they say, oh, Nancy Pelosi, she's stock trading, insider trader. We got to stop this. Let's do this. And everybody's like, yay. And they get reelected. And what do? They come back up here and we're $35 trillion in debt. They vote for every lame ass bill that comes down the pike. They have no guts. And it's our own dadgum fault. These Marxists and leftists are taking this country, and they're going to take it without a dadgum shot. And they attack folks like me and others out there every day, and nobody lifts a dadgum finger. And that's okay. I'm used to it. But I tell you what, these races that we've uncovered several that where they've these so-called our former leadership, I'll just say, has run races against very good conservatives that are in Congress. I know of 6 actually, that are current, that had moderates run against them that were funded. And these people give these folks money thinking they're going to run against Democrats. They use that money, a lot of that money, to go after good conservatives that could have won this thing. You remember when they said we were going to have the majority by 40 people maybe, and we could get it by 40, 50. We could, as high as 62 or something at one time. And we ended up with what? About 5. Because what did we do? We beat the conservatives in the primary, the ones that told the truth, and the American people respond to that. And they put these wishy-washy moderates in. And then that's where we get. And we got you need people to compromise, Burchett. Hell, they don't talk about compromising when the Democrats are in the majority. All they do is when the Republicans are in the majority. And then here we are back again, fighting the same old stuff. And now we've got the deep state. I mean, the covers are off, Benny. Man, people got to start paying attention. We are going to lose our country. That is the honest to goodness truth. Every time I pray, I always say, Lord, please don't let us lose our country. Because I can always remember my dear dad, who fought in the Pacific, Marine Corps. We were eating a pizza at 8220 Bennington Drive, my old house in West Hills where I grew up. And it was just me and Daddy, and we were watching, had that little portable television, which was so cool, but weighs about 100 pounds, And so it's sitting there on the dining room table, and Mama wasn't there because she wasn't approved. We were supposed to, but Daddy, it was just me and Daddy. We worked the polls all day. I remember, I think I was elected to the House. I was in the House or the State Senate then, and Bill Clinton was winning the White House, a dadgum draft dodger. And he was allowed to win. And I looked at my daddy and I thought, man, this guy, my dad's heart was just crushed. And that's what he prayed. He said, Lord, please don't let us lose our country. And that was his prayer. But you know what? Everything my dad said is come to pass. And it's come to pass in light speed, because we are just, the border, fentanyl, child prostitution, just the whole deal. It's out here. And we better wake the hell up.
Yeah, I think that it's not hopeless, because we've woken up before as a nation, and I don't ever want to put anything past God, but it is absolutely a wake-up call. I wanted to get your thoughts on, you were going to join us and we had some technical difficulties with the Donald Trump verdict, but, you move up the East Coast and you find the exact opposite of what's happening to Hunter Biden here, and just your quick takeaways on that guilty verdict for Donald Trump.
Bogus. It's just bogus. Look, they changed the statute of limitations to get Trump. They moved a misdemeanor from a felony. He's in trouble. They always say, for paying off whatever. porn star, whatever. And she's got sworn testimony that says she didn't do it. I don't know. That doesn't matter. What they got him on was a bookkeeping error of $120,000. He was president. Somebody else did this bookkeeping error. All the other stuff is fluff. And nobody, you ask 100 people and nobody can tell you what he's in trouble for. I knock on doors. The Tim Burchetts of the world are not mere minutes in Congress because I don't come from money. Everybody, a lot of people up here are wealthy, and I'm happy for them. I'm a capitalist, but I knock on doors. That's how I get elected. Every person I talked to brought this up, and people are disgusted. They understand it, but the problem is, what are we going to do about it? And we're gutless. We will do nothing. We'll write some stern letters. We'll call some people in and read them off in 6 weeks when nobody's talking about it. We need to be doing it next week. We need to subpoena these people, get their butts in here, and let's find out if they are breaking the law and find out and start exposing some of this, Benny. But problem is we don't have the guts. We don't have the guts. You got some brave people up here, but the rank and file, they just get in line, dude. And, it's Pavlov's dog. They ring the bell and they just come salivating, whichever direction they're pointed in. And we got to start doing something. President Trump, it's just going to keep going down the list. They're going to keep going after him and going after him and going after him. And some of this stuff is going to stick. Their ultimate goal is to take him off the ballot in several states. And I don't know where that's going to end. It's unbelievable is what it is. And, it's just this wringing of hands that we're doing. Let's do some action. The Congress is the checkbook of the country. Let's start pulling back some of those checks.
So I do have a remarkable courtroom sketch of Hunter Biden staring at a photo of him, quite famous photo of him smoking crack from his laptop, naked. And I can't let you go, Congressman, without asking you, how does it feel to be totally and completely vindicated? Because you made a lot of news saying that how they get you in D.C. is you just wind up naked with strange woman and a bunch of drugs next to you. And yet here we are. Seems to be the Hunter Biden story. And once again, Congressman Tim Burchett, right all along.
Well, I hate
in painting form.
Yeah. Not exactly a Rembrandt, but it's paint by numbers, but dadgum, it's pretty close. Look, this guy's a bad dude. This is a bad family. We need to be rid of them. The problem is, if the deep state decides to turn on him, what are they going to do? I mean, it'll be Gavin Newsom, and they kick Trump off the ballot in half the states. We got a real problem. And we better start getting on the offense instead of responding to everything. We got to get ahead of it. And I don't know if we're capable of doing that.
Yeah, that's right. Offense for Republicans these days is strongly worded tweets. That's a strongly worded tweet, a letter from my office. I sent a letter.
Yeah, we're gonna. And let me tell you, if anybody ever hires a lobbyist, and I've sat with these lobbyists, and they stay in these staffers and these other congressional and Senate offices, and they tell you, we got half a dozen people on this letter. Yeah, well, and then you just write them a big fat check. They're ripping your ass off. You want action. I'm sick of this crap. I am sick of it. I'll write the strong letters too, just to light them up, put them on notice. But dadgummit, we got to have some people in some of these committee chairmen to bust some ass, brother. Excuse my language.
You know what? Now is the time for fighters. Everybody should go and follow a fighter, Tim Burchett, on X, and you can see here, ladies and gentlemen, that people are taking our advice. Your following has gone up quite significantly, Congressman.
Yeah, my Twitter skills are excellent, dude.
Sure, Elon's gonna love to hear that.
Yeah.
Put the X in excellent. Follow the Congressman for truth and for fights and for patriotism. And he's just one of the good ones, right? So just one of the good ones.
That's my mama and daddy's grave right there. Daddy didn't fight in Europe. Of course, mama lost her brother fighting the Nazis. And some of my friends, I don't know even who does it, is Jewish folks. They leave those rocks on my parents' graves, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, Yeah, it is really cool. Do you have any visits for D-Day? I think it's tomorrow, actually.
Well, I'm not going, but a bunch of my buddies in Congress are going to find my uncle's grave because Mama never got to go over there. And I know you're a believer and you're a family man, but I know you got to get off here. But right before Mama died, she whispered something sweet to me and sang "Jesus Loves Me." But she started talking to her brother Roy, who had died it was actually in July. June 6th is D-Day, but he died. And she started talking to him before she died, and I thought that was pretty cool that Jesus let them hook back up together on her way home. So, thank you.
We live in heightened spiritual times, and people should recognize that, and people should be paying attention right now. Man,
yeah, you don't believe there's a God? Ask why do we have lightning bugs or fireflies? I mean, what the heck? Some bug lighting up? As I walk out every night, everybody talks about it. Well, they don't know if there's a God or not. I mean, think about it, dude. I mean, they say, well, it attracts the others. I mean, peacocks get the feathers. Us rednecks, we slap on a little brute aquavelle with some seduce juice. That's what we do. But that them lightning bugs light up. I mean, how cool is that? I mean, I don't know.
I'll never see a lightning bug as anything other than a sign from God from this point forward for the rest of my life, Congressman.
You heard it first here, dude. Hey, Benny, love you, brother. Hey, thank you for putting out the truth, man. People, I tell you, I'm all over the place. I'm in airports and stuff, and people say, man, I saw you on the Benny show, and so that's awesome, dude. And thank you for putting out the truth, man, and keep busting them. Save our country, dude. Pray for our country, folks. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are absolutely rolling today. I'm checking in with ALX to see if there's been anything out of this trial, if there's been any breaking news out of this trial. The best that we can do is go on breaks, right? And they run to the cameras during these breaks, and it's not up to us, right? So we can fill in the gaps as best we can, and then sort of like make sure we the problem with these trials is that oftentimes the news breaks well after the show, so it gets all kind of consolidated at between 5 and 7 p.m. and then we're able to cover it on the next morning show. So you are up to date at the very least on the Hunter Biden trial news as the trial stands so far. When would we expect this trial to be over? Are they saying that this trial will be over at any specific time? News from a few seconds ago, Hunter Biden's ex-wife told the jury that she found a broken pipe, something to clean the pipe, white powder, white crystal remnants, and other drug paraphernalia in Hunter's car. She also explained how she would search the vehicle when his daughters were about to use it because she didn't want them to see all the drugs. She revealed how he kept working and visiting with friends while using drugs. Hunter's defense lawyer, Abe Lowell, described in court as a high-functioning crack addict. In reference to his behavior at the time, she said he was angry and short-tempered. A high-functioning crack addict. Okay. This may go on for 2 to 3 weeks. So we'll see. All gets us right up to the Joe Biden and Donald Trump debates. Holy moly. Okay, baby, here we go. So there's some breaking news on that. And polls show that most voters want there to be a drug test before the debate. In fact, a full 70% of people want the two men screened for pharmaceuticals when they face off on June 27th. And then again on September 10th, according to the Daily Mail survey. So 70% of people want drug tests here. Another 18% of people said the tests were not needed. Okay, those are the Biden voters. And there were 2,000 respondents. This is a relatively strong poll here. 70% want drug tests at CNN headquarters before the candidates are allowed to take the stage. The Republican candidate says Biden was all jacked up and high as a kite when he delivered the State of the Union. I can't wait. I can't wait for the debates, man. We're going to be, I mean, obviously we're going to be live. We're going to be family members and stuff here. Apparently there's going to be no audience. So we'll be the audience. We'll add audience effects and things like that. It's going to be solid gold. You, ladies and gentlemen, should also be solid gold in your bank account or in your safe, right? Wink, wink, nod, nod. You should put some gold in there. Have you been checking about gold performance versus this insane market? Have you been seeing the glitches in the market recently? Oh, Berkshire Hathaway just suddenly loses all of its value. Yeah, okay. The stock market's totally real. Yeah, right? There's real value like connected to all of this, okay? It's not just pure speculation. Yeah. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as World War III is spinning, as we like spiral now towards this global war footing, there's something that always happens, which is the price of gold, the price of commodities, the price of fixed elements, like they skyrocket in value. Go to my friends at Allegiance Gold. Talk with them and see how you should be investing in gold. I invested in gold a couple of years ago. I continue to invest in gold, and it has returned beautifully for me. I've done sort of a diversified portfolio, and it's been great. Go to protectwithbenny.com today or call 844-66-BENNY. Right now, get $5,000 in free silver with a qualifying purchase. Don't get fooled by inflated stock values or the promise that the economy is stable. Ladies and gentlemen, protectwithbenny.com today. Okay, so funny little thing here. So Joe Biden, to prove how fit he is, did a Time Magazine interview, which is, of course, like super softball stuff, man, right? Like Time Magazine, there's like 3 people left working there. Nobody reads them anymore, but people still care what they put on their cover, kind of. Like, not really, but like when Trump's on the cover, it goes pretty viral. So Joe Biden sits down with Time Magazine. And the decline is like pretty unbelievable. Let's go ahead and check this. Let's go ahead and check this like breakdown from the actual interview down here. Here's the excerpt. What a train wreck. Later in the interview, Time Magazine noted that the president appeared to confuse the Russian president, Vladimir Putin, with Chinese president Xi Jinping when they talk about China. But Mr. President, won't your newly announced tariffs raise prices on American consumers? Here, and I read to you an exact Joe Biden quote. They have it in quotations, so this is all on tape, right? It's all recorded. No. Here we go. I'll do my best. Still recovering here, but here we go. No, because here's the deal. There's a difference. I made it clear to Putin from the very beginning that we're engaging, for example, Trump tariff on everything. Raise the price of America. Delaware. Stay clickety-clack. Okay, I had the last parts. That's an exact quote. All right? That's what I said. I said it the way that in my very poorly done Joe Biden impression. I think my Donald Trump impression is far better. But in my best Joe Biden impression, that I just read the quote. 100% read it. The president also added that there would be 1 billion people in Africa in the coming years, although there's already 1.4 billion people living on the continent. Biden, at one point during the interview, began to talk about deforestation in the Amazon before going on to say that the situation was why they're working to install solar panels in the African country of Angola. So this is everything that we could possibly fear for our commander-in-chief. It's worse than you could. The interviewer went on TV and was asked actually about the cognitive decline that he experienced sitting with Joe Biden. I mean, very rare for people to like get a chance to sit with Joe Biden and actually talk with him. How bad is it off camera?
President Biden brushing off any concerns about his age. How did he seem to you?
I mean, he appears very much as he appears on TV. He is older than when he started in office. It's visible if you just look side by side on the tape. The transcript is a good place for people to go to assess that. He was. We describe it in the piece as well. There's some sort of color description of how he appeared in there.
Sagar Enjeti, a reporter I used to work with, said this Biden Time interview validates all of my worst concerns about him Here, boys, here's the. This Biden Time interview validates all my worst concerns about him, an aging, delusional, silent generation Atlanticist with no grasp of constraints or threats that we actually face. It's as bad as you can possibly get, folks. Yeah. Do you feel that? Do you feel like it's as bad as we can possibly get? I mean, I guess it can always get worse. That's something that's been proven. But you know what? Things can also get better. And so that's what we're going to strive for on this program. And the way that we strive for that is our abiding faith in our Lord, Jesus Christ, in the scriptures, and in giving like true hope to people. And that's it, right? We're just simple Christians, and we just read our Bible. That's it. I am not some smart theologian. I am simply a guy who reads the Bible, and then I believe it. And that's what I'm called to do. And that's what I do with my children, and that's what I do with this show. So we have our verse of the day, baby. Let's go from Romans. If we have been unified with Christ like this in his death, we will certainly also be unified with him in his resurrection. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a important and vital reality to this moment, which is that you gotta not get distracted and like borne down by the weight of the world. You have to see that the victory is ours, like, and always has been. And it will get worse. It's kind of the reading. If you read through the New Testament, you see that there's some pretty stern promises that everything's about to get worse. And maybe it will, maybe it won't. I try not to be a doomer on this program. You know, that's just kind of basic. And the distractions will get worse. And the point of the distractions is to demoralize you, is to get you to focus and fixate and have no more hope, and to not recognize that actually we've already won, and that actually the victory is ours. And we should have no fear, actually, as Christians. The words "no fear" or "fear not," no fear, fear not, are written 365 times in the Bible. That's 365 times. That's one per day of the year for you, specifically for you. Looking in the mirror, you. That's what I tell myself in the morning. So fear not. Go about your life and live with the knowledge that the victory is already ours. March with us here. We know that. We don't put our faith in man. We don't put our faith in these courts, these systems. We call balls and strikes, but we march on with confidence, and you should join us because you can't defeat a happy army, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Benny. Apparently we have a meme for the stinger. We're going to do the meme? What is the meme? All right. We're going to do the song all over again. Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We our meme rendition of what is happening inside of the Hunter Biden trial. Apparently, we've been able to recreate the Biden trial via meme. And this meme kind of like fits perfectly into what we're like talking about here. Like, be happy. You can't defeat a happy warriors. The goal is humiliation and demoralization. Let the victory be yours and walk confidently with us, with me, you, all of us together. We can win. All right. Here's a meme.
Hunter Biden, the big natural gas tycoon. I hope you're not too tired from your last art show. I'd hate for you to paint yourself into a corner during this deposition. I heard you got a new job as a magician because you've been making all of your business dealings disappear. I wonder what else he got up his sleeve.
I got a laptop, I got a GoPro, I got a Glock, 'cause I say all low. I got a bag of crack, and you can probably see. I also gotta pee, I gotta pee, I gotta pee. Why is everyone laughing at me? So if you find a little pee on the floor after I leave, I think it probably belongs to me.